Watching pot boil.
Maybe it's on. Good evening. The hour of 6 p.m. having arrived, I call to order this regular meeting of the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene YouTube channel. The video is also posted on the city website by the end of the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. Copies of the written agenda are available in the wall pockets just as you enter the room. The public and other city councilors will be recognized to ask questions and make comments on the agenda item under discussion. After being recognized, all remarks are to be made through the chair. Will not recognize an individual a second time until everyone else has had a chance to speak. Anyone who wishes to address the committee is asked to go to one of the microphones in the room, identify yourself by name and address prior to speaking. Written comments from the public are accepted at the clerk's office until Tuesday, 1 p.m. I notice that we have a full committee. Thank you all for coming, and therefore a quorum. And I call to order this regular meeting. What else we got on here? That's it. Okay. First item, we have a request regarding no parking on 191 Washington Street. Delineation of parallel parking, perhaps. Director Blomquist, do we have the petitioner here?
I believe, again, they were notified, but this is a follow-up from
Sure.
the meeting of which the petitioner came in. The committee had a good discussion with the petitioner and some other members of the public. Of course, as you may remember, the concern is some visibility issues, how sometimes people park too close, they feel, to certain areas, et cetera, up in that area. So one of the suggestions that came out of that discussion was looking at, can we better organize parking? Because today, that particular area, Washington Street, does have parallel parking. People can park there. But there are not lines necessarily delineating where someone should park. And it was felt that if that could be done, that would help move cars away from the driveway entrance somewhat, et cetera, and that would help with the visibility. So we were asked to go take a look at the idea of delineation because, of course, delineating parallel parking everywhere, probably not appropriate. To take a look to see what kind of standards we could come up with for looking at areas for making determination of whether delineating the parallel parking would work. The department went out. We sat down with several other departments, parking services, community development department, to take a look at what we have out there, where our parallel parking is, and then what sort of is the situation that, again, where it would make sense to go ahead and do something like this. As I mentioned, we looked and said, well, it's probably under certain conditions where parallel parking, delineating the parallel parking would go ahead and work. So we came up with sort of some guidelines for when we would start looking at that. So we looked at, for example, we looked at streets with high volume of traffic, and when we started defining high volume of traffic, that would be streets that have 4,000 plus vehicle trips per day. So that's your Washington streets, that's your Court streets, that's your West streets, that's your Winchester Street. So those are your sort of your main corridors going through in and throughout and moving through the city. We also looked at, well, what kinds of uses or activities are creating this conflict, because what you heard from certainly was some businesses, but also in that area there are residential units. There are service-oriented types of businesses, whether they're doctors, psychologists, beauty parlors, those lawyer offices. So there's this mixed use.